Hello everybody, I am Tracy Chang and welcome to this week's New Money. Well, China's tech industry has experienced enormous growth in recent years. As the country aspires to become a world leader in science, technology, and innovation, policymakers are making bold changes as well. And as a result, many early-stage tech startups flourished. Let's take a look.
This isn't a high-tech exposition. It's a special space and platform called Beijing Maker Space. This Maker Space is modeled on what is known as Hacker Space, a relatively new form of open laboratory.
There's a very famous makerspace in Los Angeles called Noise Bridge. I've been there many times, and I think the people there have made that space something very special, something more than just an office or a home. They go there because they're having fun. They come from all kinds of completely different professions. They're not just the engineers, artists, or designers that we often imagine them to be. I often see really old people there, 60 or 70-year-olds that go there to attend lectures and then start making things. I think it's really interesting.
Joanna Wei is one of the founders of Beijing Maker Space. She and a few friends brought the hackerspace concept to Beijing in 2011. It was just for fun in the early days, a way of making spare time more interesting.
We began working on Beijing Makerspace in a really small, nice square meter place in Beijing. In the very beginning, everybody joined out of personal interest. We were a bunch of people getting together to make open-source hardware, touch screens, and that kind of things. Back then, we were very small. But then, Wang Shengling, our founder, said that we might as well arrange a maker fair like they do in the US. So we decided to create China's first maker fair.
The first fair wasn't much more than a get-together for lobbyists. And the event's motto was "Turn your idea into reality." The founders later called this period 川科 1.0, after the Chinese word for maker. While the makers, or 川科, were enjoying themselves, a company resembling a coffee shop opened its doors for the first time not too far away. This might look like a coffee shop, but something seems to be a bit off. Rather than chatting leisurely, most of the guests are working intently on their computers. Chaihuo Coffee's real purpose is to serve as a platform that brings entrepreneurs together.
To entrepreneurs with fledgling businesses who are often alone or just a small team, renting an office in Zhongguancun just isn't a realistic option because it's so expensive here. So people might work in coffee shops like Starbucks or UBC Coffee, but they're also expensive. Secondly, these coffee shops aren't meant for people to work in, and the space doesn't fit the needs for a team. This led us to think that maybe we could create a platform, a place that could solve these two basic needs of early entrepreneurs. A place they could come to work in. We'd provide a good internet connection, servers, broadband, and other necessities, so they could come here and work.
By ordering a single cup of coffee, you're allowed to stay in this peaceful work environment for a full day. Before long, Chaihuo was attracting more and more young dreamers, especially people with a background in interest startups. At the same time, Beijing Maker Space events were attracting more and more attention. As the number of participants grew, they moved away from the early grassroots DIY mentality. After a number of hardware designers joined, the events became more technical. Slowly, the participants began aiming higher.
Many of the makers create things simply because they think it's fun. But some entrepreneurs say, I want to make something out of this. I want to move from an idea to a model to finally finding partners that want to create a team and in the end will attract investment or even go public. This is the road of the entrepreneurs. The Chaihuo 2.0 is a startup period, a process during which we create smart hardware.
Just a reminder, you can use your smartphone to scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen to find the latest and previous episodes of New Money. Now, folks, Beijing's Zhongguancun district is transforming from a market for tech gadgets to an incubator base for tech startups. To talk more about this transformation, Professor Jia Ning joins me in the studio. She's the Deputy Director for the China Business Case Center at Tsinghua University. So, Professor Jia, why are platforms such as Chaihuo and Chaihuo multiplying in China today?
Well, I think there are at least two reasons. The first one is the fact that China now is entering into an entrepreneurship era. And so we're seeing a lot more entrepreneurs, many of whom are grassroots entrepreneurs,
especially in the tech industry, right?
That's right. But those entrepreneurs, they have usually very limited startup capital, so they have limited resources. So they do have strong demand for places like Chaihuo or Chaihuo, where they can get their business off the ground at very low cost. And another reason is because places like Chaihuo and Chaihuo Cafe are becoming a very important of entire entrepreneur ecosystem. And actually, back in March, the government also enacted a number of new policies to build up this national entrepreneurial ecosystem. And part of the effort actually lies in building an array of these low-cost open platforms, like Chaihuo Cafe.
For people to share ideas, share experiences, and support each other.
That's right, and get the business off the ground.
So, Professor Jia, Chaihuo is very similar to 3W Cafe. 3W got very famous after Premier Li Keqiang's visit in April. We see this type of cafe serve as an incubator for a lot of early tech startups. What are the advantages of starting a tech company in a cafe like that?
Well, I think the first advantage is it's a low-cost startup strategy, especially for grassroots entrepreneurs. So if you're thinking about starting up your own company, but you don't have the money to rent a office space, well, where do you go? In the United States, most people would actually go to their backyard and start their own company in their garage because they live in houses. But in China, most people don't have that kind of luxury. So instead, they would go to a cafe, right? So they can work there and drink coffee there. So it's basically a coffee plus office.
I love that word.
Yeah. And another advantage actually is access to various resources. So basically, these cafes will be able to provide these entrepreneurs a variety of value-added services. And this is also a place where they can meet potential investors, meet people who are similar to them, who are also entrepreneurs. And another advantage is actually the atmosphere, the entrepreneurship culture, because we know starting up your own company is a very lonely job. And it's very difficult. So somewhere along the way, you may become depressed and you want to actually hang out with people who understand what you're going through, who share the same value, who can encourage and support each other, and also brainstorm together, create some positive synergy.
So Chaihuo started as a place for all these tech enthusiasts to just get together and have fun. I'm thinking about the scene from The Matrix, right? It's just a hacker space, like they said. But since it's an open platform, everyone can participate, everyone can go there. How can they control the quality of the people that actually come to this open platform?
Right, that's an interesting question, Tracy, because I don't think they explicitly control the quality of people who go there. Now, in China, we also have some so-called higher-end incubators where they do have explicit requirement as to the kind of startup teams they would admit. For example, the founder has to be of certain background. They have to have a foreign degree, education degree. So most grassroots entrepreneurs, they do not qualify for these high-end incubators. So that's why Chaihuo becomes a very attractive alternative, right? So they can go there and try out their ideas. And also, I think some platforms similar or space similar to Chaihuo are offering membership, which I think is a good self-selection mechanism.
That's
right?
true.
So people
you would only be willing to pay if you really want it.
Exactly.
You're not
if you're
just there.
committed, right? If you're believing the core value of these so-called Chaihuo space, then you'll be able to or willing to join the Chaihuo space. Right?
That's a very good self-selecting process.
That's right.
Well, folks, operational support is crucial for tech startups, but Chuanke and Cheku's support doesn't come free. When we return, we'll look at how these incubators make sure that they are yielding a return for their future.